audio boards. "13-inch MacBook Air A1466 from 2017. So this will have an 820-00165 logic board in it. The complaint is it's liquid damaged. So before we turn it on, we are going to unplug the battery and look at the liquid damage. You do not want to turn on a machine that has been liquid damaged before we make sure it is still, before we check to see if it still is liquid, has liquid and it's not dry. If it's dry, it's a different story. If it's still got wet stuff inside, we don't want to turn it on because then you could burn up other components and make the repair even harder. So we're not going to blindly plug in liquid damaged machines. And no, I don't speak from experience. Although I used to plug in liquid damaged machines, I, knock on wood, have not damaged a machine further by doing that. But this is more of a precautionary measure. I don't want to cause more damage. Thankfully, I haven't not in my 2 years that I've been doing this. I have not actually have ran into that I know of. So we're going to take a look at this first. Off comes the bottom. And I don't see a lot of evidence of liquid on the bottom, so this, well, I mean, there's some slight little spots here. Nothing too crazy, though. So we flip that like this, so that's going to be towards the backlight area. So I just turned the computer around, and the backlight area is over here. And so this is the bottom. You flip the bottom over. We're doing some, some detective work here. So I do see evidence of liquid over here. So if you kind of line these two up like this, of course you can't see what I'm doing. So if we line these two up, and I can see liquid damage here, and if you look at the corresponding area on the board, I see liquid damage there on our backlight circuit. So we'll switch over to microscope view. Hopefully this works pretty well. Oh, get this box out of the way for now. Let's unplug the battery. Make sure we unplug the battery before we poke around here with the metal tweezers, Scope cam. Is our scope cam going to cooperate? Of course not. Deactivate. Activate. Please work. Thank you. We're going to zoom up here. Try to keep this straight as possible. Yep, you can see right there. We got some minor liquid damage in this area. So this is our Wi-Fi card. Nothing major. There's our backlight circuit. You can see that there's a little capacitor that's tied to ground right here. He's not looking too healthy, so we'll probably change him out. And we did unhook our battery, so we can undo that. Our LCD connector bar. Don't see anything else. Let's unplug this and make sure our cable is not ruined. Oh no, those pins look great. Yeah, those pins look fine. So, I'm looking around and I don't see anything else crazy in here. It's liquid damage, so I think something foreign in there. I don't see anything else that's super bad, so I think we can power it on just to see what's going on. Let's plug our LCD connector back in. See if we have an image and just no backlight. We'll have to pull the board out and check the underside just to make sure there isn't liquid damage under there, which I assume there probably is. I think it's safe to assume that, but you can see, I'll try to get you up close a little. You gonna focus for me? Yeah, see that? You can see that capacitor up there by the connector, just down and to the right. A little bit of liquid damage there. Nothing else too crazy. Rest of the board looks okay. Don't see any evidence of liquid damage, so I think we're just dealing with a no backlight, maybe no image. So we'll go ahead and plug the power supply cord in, or the MagSafe. Forgot what it's called. Make sure our voltage is adjusted correctly. We'll just go to 18.5. I love programmable power supplies. Got a green light on the MagSafe. You can't see that. Green and then orange. And I did see the screen energize. Yep, and I can see an Apple logo, which you cannot because the screen is so filthy. What if I use my microscope? Let's see. Haha. Ew. Wow. Yeah. You can kind of see a pixelated apple there. Yeah, you can literally pixelated. So yeah, it looks like we're just dealing with no backlight, which is good. And we got a chime, obviously, so no need in wasting time checking power rails and stuff. So I just saved myself a whole bunch of time instead of plugging the computer in now, potentially shorting other stuff out, opening it up, making sure there's no wet, like active corrosion going on. Just a dry spot where some corrosion used to be. Wipe the screen down so we can actually see. I know this is not necessary right now, but I wanted to see if I could see inside with a flashlight. So we'll do a little two-step process here. Take a screen wipe. Just get it good and wet and wipe all the fingerprints and whatever else off here. Go ahead and buff that. It's still on, or did it shut off? I know it's still on. I guess, I mean, to be technical, I could have actually pulled the board completely out before powering on, but like that was such a little bit of liquid. Where's my flashlight? Yep, so we're at a login screen, and I'm not going to show you that because there's somebody's name on there. So right now, as it looks, we are dealing with a no backlight due to liquid damage. So we'll go ahead and turn it off, pull the board out, see if we can't repair that damage, and get them a backlight back on working, and get them their computer back. So we're going to go ahead and Now the battery's unplugged. We'll go ahead and remove the SSD where all the sensitive personal data is. We'll obviously have to take the board out. Found if you twist that, it kind of keeps that little sticky thing on instead of just ripping it off. But, you know, you do your thing. You do things your way. So we'll go ahead and take our T5 screwdriver. That's one thing I like about these MacBook Airs is all the screws are the same size. All T5. Easy. Whoop. Get all the logic board screws out. We want to check that LED driver on the back of the board to make sure that if it's been liquid damaged, we'll go ahead and replace that too. We'll thoroughly check our backlight circuit. See if we can get that back working again. So I'm just going to go ahead and take everything out of the computer. We got all of our logic board screws out. We'll gently pull our Wi-Fi cable out of the channel. Oh, we missed one logic board screw. That's okay. I'm used to 15-inch MacBook Pros from like 2013 to 2015 where they have 3 logic board screws. So we'll just remove that out of the channel, and then there's a super secret. There's a super secret screw under here. I don't know if I can show you. Oh, I'll show you under the microscope. So if you're taking one of these apart for the first time, one of these Airs from 2012 to 2017, you want to be careful when you're pulling the Wi-Fi cable out to unscrew the board right there. I've seen this numerous times from newer technicians or, you know, people fixing these. Underneath the Wi-Fi cable at the end of the CPU heatsink where the fan is, there's a secret screw down here that you have to remove. It's also a T5, but you got to remove that, otherwise you're going to damage the end of the heatsink, the CPU heatsink. Likewise, when you put the board back together, you want to put that screw in first and then put the Wi-Fi cable over it and put it and reroute it back into the channel, because if you don't do that, I can almost guarantee you, no matter how much of a surgeon you think you are, you're going to put that screw into that Wi-Fi cable, and those are a nightmare to replace because you have to take the bezel off the screen, the aluminum surround off the screen, and those things are almost impossible to get off without bending them. You're just going to create a whole set of bad circumstances. So just make sure you route that. Oh, yes. Interesting. What the heck did they spill in here? There's all these little white things. What is that? They're seeds. Are those seeds? Let's look under the microscope. You can see them. Like on the overhead. All these little white things don't belong in this computer. Like that. All these little things look like seeds. And the backlight driver is dead. For lack of a technical term. What is that? Oh, we are completely overexposed. What if we turn the light down a little bit? No, down. What is that? It's like a seed of some sort. Yeah. Some kind of seed. Someone spilt the drink or food or something on this poor little MacBook. Which brings me to my next point. Don't drink and MacBook. Start my own ad campaign. Don't drink and MacBook. Tell your friends. Friends don't let friends drink and MacBook. at the same time. Although the results are not the same, it is still dangerous. As you can see, this person is going to be paying me to repair this. Quite a bit of money for this simple little act. Go ahead and wipe that. Wipe that out, get all the seeds out. A delivery truck. Seems like I get deliveries every single day. Alright, do we remove all the seedlings out of this poor MacBook? Got a couple more over here. Oh, these seeds aren't going to cause a short or anything, but more for aesthetics. We'll just go ahead and clean all that, whatever that was, off of here. Off of our backlight cover. Just wipe all that off, all that liquid damage, and like it never happened. Alright. We'll go ahead and get that out of the way. I got another 165 board here. This is mine that I repaired. It just needs to be ultrasonic, but my ultrasonic, the heater element went out on it, so I had to repair it, and that's repaired, but the silicone that's holding the tank to the rest of it is drying, so I cannot use it probably until tomorrow. And let's take a look at our beautiful backlight driver. And I say that with heavy sarcasm, because that's not beautiful. That's not beautiful at all. That is horrible. Horrible. Terrible, Muriel. We're going to rebuild this whole entire backlight circuit. I mean, this whole driver area. So that looks horrible. And our little damage spill comes all the way down to here. Doesn't look like it affected this stuff too much. I mean, that'll definitely need to be cleaned. That's a pretty purple color. Wow. The pretty colors. So I'm not quite sure what they spilled there. Not super concerned with whatever food or drink. Alright, so now we know. Oh gosh, that looks horrible. Maybe running traces too, which is fine by me. But that doesn't look healthy. That is not a happy LED driver. That is a sad LED driver. Starting to think that this corrosion over here is minor compared to what's going on over there. So we'll replace this little capacitor here for sure. Touch up his pads. We'll clean whatever this is off of here. I mean, our LVDS connector looks like it hasn't been contacted, which is great. So we'll just replace that little cap. Clean this area up. We'll check under our Wi-Fi card, make sure nothing else got hit over there. And then, yeah. So I think we're going to address this whole area first. And this, for all intents and purposes, is going to be a gut job. So we're going to just wipe this whole area. We're going to wipe all those components, then start over. So we're going to get rid of this cap. We'll get rid of this stuff. We'll get rid of all this. This guy looks like he might be okay, but yeah, he's probably okay. I'm pushing on him and he's not moving. Same with this resistor. It just looks a little dirty. But like that. These guys, yeah, they're going to have to get replaced for sure. Alright, so we're going to throw a bunch of flux on here and get to work. Raise my airspeed up. Turn my fume extractor on, so pardon the noise, but I don't want to breathe in whatever this is. So we're going to turn our fume extractor on. Get to work, and let's put this over here. Need some flux. Hope we don't have to replace or run some traces, but I mean, if we do, we will. Where's my trash can? Trash can close. That capacitor actually doesn't look too bad. Oh good, those pads look nice and shiny. So even though they're nice and shiny, that component doesn't look great, so we're just going to replace it. So we want to clean that area anyway. We're just going to clean this whole area up. Yeah, see, if we didn't remove that, we'd have problems, because that doesn't look good. That pad's either missing or corroded. So if we just skipped over that, we would still have problems. So, alright, now we're just going to go ahead and put some new fresh leaded solder down. And we'll just gently clean this area up. We're not going to go crazy and scrape. You know what, we're gonna take a Q-tip now, since it's still nice and hot, and see if we can't clean this up first. See if we can get some of that gunk off. There is no textbook way to do this. I'm just kind of experimenting with heat and trying to scrape some of this stuff off, whatever it is. That sucks. That's just a test point. These are just test points. I don't think they're vias. A via is basically It's a connection that on the board that goes from one side of the board to the other. And they go through the board, or they go into the board to a different layer. And a test point is just that. It's just a trace with a little circle, an open circle that you can stick your probe leads on and test. I wonder if we should look at the schematic and see what that test point is. Could be important. And if I didn't say it already, this is a 00165 logic board. That's backlight enable low. Yep, so that's... I'm pretty sure that is just a test point. Yeah. That's just a test point. So a dead test point is what it is. Nothing left. Alright. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's focus. See if I can focus up for you. As you can see there, this pad has been obliterated and it's just a little pin left that goes to the other side of the board, so we will be running a wire there. This pad is gone as well, but luckily this trace goes right here under the solder mask, so we can literally scrape that back and just kind of cock that capacitor to the side. And that looks... that looks okay. Just have to clean that. It's kind of filthy. Whatever this substance is. What does that go to? Backlight filter. So that goes to ball 12. So we'll have to check that and make sure it's got continuity. And ball 12 on this driver circuit is right here. So let's check that for continuity real quick and make sure it's still connected. So, made a little mess of the backlight circuit. So we are still connected. Or are we? we're probably gonna have to scrape that and just fill it with a little solder. Make sure that it's still connected because it's kind of intermittent. I don't like that, so we're gonna have to fix that. So let's continue on with addressing our backlight area and kind of put some fresh solder down and clean this up some more. So we are going to have to run a wire around to the other side, but that's okay. So I covered it up, but from this point we're going to have to run to the other side of the board due to all that corrosion that happened. We are going to take our time, not in a rush. I'm going to get this done right, correctly. Alright. Take a solder wick and wick all that fresh solder up. It's a little bit of a mess, but nothing too crazy. The only concern is with this one tray or pad over here. So I mean, not perfect, but it's looking much better, much cleaner. So we got a little bit of damage to contend with, but nothing crazy, nothing we can't handle. We're just gonna sit here and rebuild our backlight circuit. If I turn the light down a little bit, kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing here. See, it looks nice and bright for you, but for me, I can't see what I'm doing. But you get the idea. One of these days I'll get the quality and the imagery right. So that's just a test point, so we don't care about that. What we do care about, though, that we're going to fix is we care about this here. How that's not, doesn't sound like it's making a solid connection. Let's see if I can't, turn the light down a little bit. So you can kind of see how that doesn't look like it's completely connected there. There you go. You can see it's kind of almost broken a little bit. That's for a backlight filter. We'll go ahead and run a little jumper there, just to make sure it's got a solid connection. Right now there's nothing solid about that. Could just blob solder there, but let's see if I can gently clean this, clean that pad up because it's got stuff on it. See if we can gently scrape that one and reuse it. There we go. Alright. Clean that off. Yeah, there we go. Much better. So now we have pads that we can solder that resistor back to. And then we'll run a little jumper here to address this little break. To throw this in the ultrasonic and get all this stuff off. Yeah, he looks okay. He looks okay. Scrape that one a little bit too. Yeah, he's okay. He's not okay. We're just gonna run a wire to the other side of the board, and like, I'm not trying to solder a wire to the end of that little thing. No way. I'll be here for all night. I was kind of hoping to get 2 videos in today. So we're just going to go the somewhat easy route and run a jumper there. Yeah, that's gone. Test point. Go ahead and expose some wire or copper here. There we go. Now we got a new pad that we can solder it to, and that'll still work just as strong. Yep. Good. Now in the past, I think when I've repaired backlight circuits, I put the LED driver on first and then addressed all the other components around it. And I think I'm going to stick to that because LED driver is a pain to put on, and if I go soldering all these other components around it first with lead free or leaded solder, when I go to put the LED driver on, I run the risk of all those other components flying off the board. So I think personally it'd be easier to well, what if I try it a different way? What if I attach all the components around it? Because I think the LED driver has leaded solder balls too. So I attach all these around it, and then I'll just turn my air lower. Well, that might work. And I'll just, so first I'll attach everything. I'll put everything back that needs to go. Because then I can use my hot air. It won't take as long. Maybe I'll just do that. And then once I get the driver put on, I can run the jumpers that I need to run. So yeah, we'll try that first and see if that works. Sorry, I hate to do this. I know the picture is overexposed. There's too much white, too much light, but I gotta have light to see what I'm doing. I promise one of these days I'll figure out how to fix that. So we'll just solder up these pads. Might have to put some solder mask on that trace. Might have to put some solder mask from, say, right here to here. So the solder, well, it doesn't matter. That whole thing can have solder on it. I don't care. It's not going to hurt anything. So there's that. Okay. There's those. Oh. Put some flux in that too. So we're just rebuilding our backlight circuit. Not in a hurry. Want to get this done right. I don't want to have to redo anything. I'm one of those kind of people who'd rather spend twice as much time and get it right the first time than do it in half the time and have to do it twice. Reworking things always makes me mad. Alright. I would say we are good. We are go for replacement, so I think we'll start up here at this capacitor with the big filter cap. We'll start up there and start replacing stuff. How long is this going? 45 minutes? All right. Okie dokie. Do we have a good candidate with a acceptable backlight circuit? Let's see. Grab one of our cadaver boards. Not bad. Not bad, but I think we could do better. Okay, he's got 2 of the 8 parts that I need. He's got more parts. Wait, does he got all the ones that I didn't have from the other board? Kind of. So, yeah, we'll keep him out. Kind of nice to have one that has everything on one board. Like that. Perfect. We'll take you. You are my cadaver board. Alrighty. Let's start replacing things, huh? So I'm going to turn into a human pick and place machine. Turn my air down a little bit. Okay. And it just blew that capacitor somewhere. There we go. Put a little flux over here so I can maybe get him to stick a little better. Whoops, sorry for bumping the microscope. Shoot, am I gonna have to turn the board around? I'm gonna have to turn the board around because I can't. I'm left-handed holding tweezers. That capacitor is too big to work around, so. Alright, you guys, settle down. There you go. Okay. Oh, sorry. Focus a little bit. Stinking LED light thing is in my way, so every time I try to reach under my tweezers, I'm bumping into the LED light. Whoa. Alright. Not quite sure where that resistor went. Um, there he is. Okay. Touch up those solder joints. Gosh, you'd think I've never worked under this microscope light before. I keep bumping into everything. Grr. I hate those little things at the end of the solder thing. Solder joints, I want them to be nice and round. There we go. Alright. Stop trying to strive for perfection there, guy. Alright. On to the next components. Oh, what happened to the resistor? I keep forgetting that I'm blind. Like trying to solder under this thing like I'm 20. Like I cannot see what I'm doing. Did I just rip the bottom of that resistor off? I did. Okay. That's why I have 45 donor boards. It's for when I do silly stuff like that. And he doesn't. Alright. Like release the resistor. Could get my hand to let go. My hand didn't want to let go of the tweezers and drop the resistor. I don't know, because I was too afraid to drop it. Or what the heck. Where are these strings coming from? Okay. Next. See if I can grab this without dropping it and having to move the board under the microscope. Okay, move the hot air. Pinch resistor. Place resistor. That resistor to the right of it, I'll have to replace later because it's missing a pad, and that will be a nightmare to do with hot air, so I'm going to do that with soldering iron. Alright. We got these guys down here. Oh. So put him at an angle like that. Okay, do a little more flux here. That resistor to cooperate. There we go. Resistance is futile. Corny joke. Alright. Everything is put back on except for the LED driver itself. So we'll have to replace that. And then run our wires. That's right, I still got to put this resistor over here. So I have to solder that down, and I don't think I can get solder down on that little end of a pad. I did, but it's not enough. I've ran this jumper quite a few times, so I know that the outcome if I try to solder to that little pin. Alright. And I think we're gonna point our hot air when we do our LED driver. We're gonna try to point our hot air this way, as to avoid upsetting all these components that now have lead-free solder on them, and that will freely flow, which I don't want them to. I kind of want them to stay in their spots. So we're going to turn the board like that. See how how well this is going to work, but let's get a new LED driver. Keep in mind too, if you're watching this video, that normally this repair would not take me this long, but I'm concentrating on trying to talk and make this somewhat informative and entertaining while I'm trying to do this repair, which is not a terribly difficult repair, but it still requires you to pay attention, and you can easily mess up if you don't pay attention. So it is taking me roughly about twice as long. Normally I can do this repair in about a half an hour or so. Where are my LED drivers? I know I have like 150 of them. I also have a box of chips from Mouser and DigiKey. I usually put them in the back. There they are. Yeah, see, look at this. This is my box of SMD parts from Mouser and DigiKey. Like, tons of parts I have to dig through. I gotta find out a better system. someday when I care more about it. Unlike right now, all I care about is getting this board repaired. Getting a happy little backlight going. Alright, top right is pin 1. So our dot goes in the top right corner. Good. Alright, make sure we keep an eye out if any components fly off while we're heating this. We're going to try to do some lower air. See if we can prevent things from blowing off the board. Get heat from far away. Done. And actually, we're pretty much done with our hot air, so I think I might flux that more. Let's check the balls under there. Yeah. Oh yeah, look nice. Goody. Alright. We're gonna go ahead and put some more flux on here, and we'll set all of our parts to their final resting place. We'll straighten out that cap and stuff quickly. And then we'll move on to the other side of the board. We'll get that one little cap replaced, and then we will run our jumpers, and that should be it. Probably beating a dead horse here, but all right. Cool. Let that cool off for a minute and then we'll clean it. Want things to kind of cool off a little and solidify, and then we'll fix that little capacitor on the other side. And we'll run our 2 jumpers. Just remember, we got a jumper to run. There. We got a little jumper to run from here to here to connect that filter, backlight filter line. And then we got to put this resistor here, which we'll just do with a soldering iron and just run a jumper to the other side of the board. Oop, that's the wrong thing. Always seem to be bumping my soldering iron in the cradle. Swear you never have enough room in your shop, no matter how big your shop is. Alright. Now we're going to address this area here. Get all this gunk off here. We want our backlight area to be clean. All right. We're going to use a different technique to pull this cap off. We'll hit it with a bunch of solder and just blob it off. Wow. You'd think that he'd just fall right off, but he doesn't want to come off. He's coming off. You can't stay, buddy. Sorry. We're going to replace you with the newer model. Keep grabbing the wrong wick. Get off. Alright. Sorry, I know this is getting to be long, an hour and 16 minutes, but hey. Gotta do what you gotta do. That capacitor looks just fine, so we'll use him. The old capacitor's still on my tweezers. Get out of here. Sorry, buddy. You had your chance. Alright. Touch up his solder joints. Cool. He's nice and clean now. Look how shiny he is. And I don't like this stuff either, but it's pretty caked on there. Don't know if I ultrasonic if it'll address that, but I mean, it's not desirable. It's not good to look at, but I don't think it poses any kind of harm to the circuit. Alright, so that's cleaned up. Let's run some jumpers. I can address any cleaning that needs to be done post video or after I'm done recording, so if there's things I need to clean, Or if I need to UC the board, I can do that off camera. Alright, let's zoom down to this area here. You can see that's, or you can't, because it's not focused. That's broken. So we need to fix that. Like I said, yeah, you could just run a blob of solder, but I swear, pick up all these hairs, fibers. Really, the whole point of this video is to just show you that I fixed the backlight. not how to be pretty. How to make the circuit look pretty is the intention of this. Let's see, how am I going to do this? To turn the board like this, maybe? No. Shoot. Yeah. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm just worried I'm going to bump into that resistor. Nope. You can make it look better than that. There we go. That looks good. Just gotta make sure those aren't touching. Alright, so there's that guy. cotton fibers included. Get it while it's hot. Free with your backlight repair. You get free cotton fibers with any purchase. Alright. Good. Now just one resistor over here and run a long jumper to the other side of the board. And that is it. So we're going to flip it around like this. Alright. Now we need a donor board again. We're going to pull that resistor off. Make this easy on myself. Hot. I don't know why I keep cleaning this when I'm putting more flux on here. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but just like that. Here we go. Okay. Just cut and jump wire here. Try to make this easy on myself by burning the end off, or the enamel off the end of it real quick. Hopefully I made that long enough. And now the trick is to clean all this flux, and then we're going to mask it to the board. Alright. We'll take our UV mask. What is that? No, I didn't want solder mask over there. So that'll hopefully keep it, keep the wire from getting ripped off the end of the resistor. I think I'll put another layer just to make sure. All right. I'll probably end up using this board just to make everything look clean. But for now, we're just gonna see if the backlight works. Keep putting fibers on here. Alright, let's flip the board over. Because we need to tie this wire to somewhere else. It looks like the best place is to this probe point right here. Or we can tie it to this pad, either one. So we're gonna turn this board around. Get my tools out of the way here. See what I'm doing. So I'm gonna bring the wire for safety. Because it's enameled and I want it to stay attached. I'm going to bring it through here like this. We're just going to do these little tacks. Tack it and run it around to where it needs to go. Oops. Wasted a bunch of solder mask. Okay, where's my laser? Keep that close. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. Just tacking this down. Alright. So we're running this all the way from the other side of the board. I mean, it's not the prettiest, but hey, it's gonna work. Alright. So we do one more to kind of give it a little curve, gentle curve here. Yeah, I think we'll give it one more blob just to kind of keep the wire curved. See what I'm doing? Alright, now we'll solder this to that pad and then test it. Sorry for the silence, just trying to concentrate. Got quite the mess going on for this board. Yeah, we'll just put some solder here. Kind of give it a little resemblance of like we care and try to do a good job. All right. So that's that. Now after all that, let's see if this board has a backlight. And I'm not going to edit this video or anything. I'm going to plug in a screen, and if we get a backlight, we get a backlight, and if we don't, then we're going to fix it still. There's no trickery here. All this fuzz. Yeah, let's not drop pieces of jump wire on there on the board and short it out before we even get it started. That would not be good. What is all this mess? Flux. All right. All right, let's see if this thing has a backlight. Shall we? Since this has already been almost a 2-hour video. Okay. Cut off our fume extractor. Stuff everywhere. All right. And we're not even going to use a test screen. We're going to use the customer screen just so we know. Their screen is actually good. Alright. I'm going to put a couple of board screws in here so this board doesn't go falling out of the computer and rip something. And we plugged our DC in board back in. Don't even have to put their LCD or SSD back in. So we're just going to check it and see if it goes to a flashing question mark. I plugged in the speakers too for dramatic effect. Alright, let's see if we have a backlight now. Or if I just wasted the last 2 hours of my life trying to resurrect this computer. I'm not even going to cheat and pick it up and look under the screen for the glowing Apple logo. I'm going to wait like you guys. Fan's gonna ramp up because I didn't plug the trackpad in. Oh, not even paying attention. There you go. We now have a backlight. We have a working backlight circuit. So the last 2 hours was not in vain. We have a functioning backlight. So that's it. Why are you taking 720 milliamps? You need to calm down. Usually you take 500. Why are you taking 700? Huh? Greedy? Anyway. Working backlight. Fixed. Alright, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.